Hello ladies and gentlemen, I'm the Serious Strategy Gamer and I wanted to give you a little bit of a bonus here in Command Modern Operations, and that is, I wanted to look at the scenario that we played last time around and take a look at that from the Chinese side. So we're going to go back to the South China clash here and we're going to look that up as the Chinese and see what we would do differently. Now, I'm not going to talk too much about this scenario. This is probably going to be a short episode here, or a long episode, but only one of that. We know all of the disposition of forces. We know that there are some ships down here. One of them is auto-controlled. We've got 3 ships up here, and then we've got these 3 airfields. Now, what I wanted to talk about is how we could treat that differently. And to be honest, there's not going to be a super revolutionary tactic. This is just not set up in the way. I think the forces here are just too small. I dislike this scenario in that regard a little bit, because we've got 5 ships, we've got a couple of airplanes and so on, but this is not really representative of the capabilities of China. Not in 2015, certainly not of today. And you know, sometimes asymmetric fights like the one that we had in the Iran scenarios, in the tanker wars, that was extremely interesting. That was truly amazing, where you could see how that plays out. But in this scenario, it's a little bit of an asymmetric fight. We know the enemy has some air bases. We can probably take that here. They've got some in Singapore. They will need to do some bunny hopping. But honestly, the most striking asymmetric case that we have here is, to me, the surveillance. And that is, if we look at the aircrafts that we've got over here, we've got the J8, which is, as you can see, it's already a little bit older, right? It's an okay aircraft. It does what it is supposed to do, but if we look at the sensors down here, of course, we've got the Mark 1 eyeballs, so just normal visual identification and so on. You've got passive stuff, and that we need to talk about in a second. We've got some IR, and we've got a radar with 200 nautical mile radius, and that's fine. But notice one thing here. This is only a surface search radar. This has no air capabilities, so we are not going to find planes with that, and that is a bit of a problem, because there are not that many ways how we can actually identify planes and find them around. So that's a bit of an issue. But here's the first thing that you notice. We are seeing this guy over here, Bogo 3. We don't know much about him. He's probably the Global Hawk or something, which we know is there from the other side. And that, I think, is very interesting, because notice we don't really have that much radar. And what we probably are going to see is that I'm expecting to find the enemy via their radar emissions. So we are going to be listening out there, seeing what we can find. And that is typically a very useful thing to do for some scenarios, because simply of the imbalances in active and passive radar emissions. Now, active radar emissions, of course, do tell everyone that you're there, whereas passively just listening to the other guy is a little bit more conductive, because you're not giving away your own position. Now, that's the one thing. The other thing is that it's typically easier to listen to someone than to find someone, because just the inverse square law. So as we're traveling outwards, it becomes harder to detect, or the energy in a radar emission is gonna fall off. So let's say we're detecting these guys here by active radar emission, so we are pinging them. The signal needs to be traveling back, and that means by the time it reaches him, it might have a certain strength, but by the time it comes back, it is basically traveling twice the distance, and that means it's only a quarter as energetic. So it's a lot easier for them to be knowing that we are pinging out there rather than the other way around. Now, that being said, I do want to launch probably at least one of our fighter aircraft here. Now, our fighter aircraft, they are much more limited than what the Americans have, because we do not have the same extent. Okay, there we are. We do not have the same extent of tankers, so we have no aerial refueling capabilities, and frankly, even if we had, it would very probably turn out that the Americans could shoot that down. Now, that being said, I think I want to use sensors here, because you can see we have precious little knowledge about anything at all, really. We are not seeing the enemy here. And that is a bit concerning, I think, because I dislike that. We have very little intelligence on the enemy, on the overall battle space. Ooh, what's going on here? Where did you launch? Did not intend you to launch, okay, but if we have you in the air, that's fine. And that extends really to all parameters here. We do not know much about their surface fleet. We don't know much about their submarine fleet. We don't even know much about their aerial capabilities, and that's really just not sitting too well with me, to be quite honest. So we know this is probably a merchant ship, yeah. And we've got the Filipino Navy here. This ship down here is not under our control, so I suppose that's fine. We can come in here though with this guy. Yeah. Okay, they are now starting the shooting war down there. We don't have any influence about that, so that's more or less alright, I suppose. But let's see. Okay, there's some noise here. Seems like our auto-control guy here is superior to this one, so we're gonna leave you as is. But that being said, we know about some aircraft over here. We've got our submarine in the vicinity here. All of you guys are traveling, that's okay too. By the way, why are you at 2,000 feet? Can you not go to high altitude, please? Yeah, because the thing is going to be, and we're going to turn on at least one of your sensors here. Yeah, you guys do turn on your radar. You can see it has a certain range, but as you're climbing, you are going to get more range from that, at least to a certain point, because of the limitations of the horizon, basically. Now, what are you guys? Don't know much about you. You're a little bit faster. You could be non-merchant. We don't know that yet. Neither do we know that about you. Anyway, okay, we've got our aircraft here. Do want to patrol a little bit down here because, well, we do know these two guys are probably enemies, but we just don't know exactly. Okay, but you can see we've got very, very little information here about the enemy, and that is a little bit irritating. Now, probably what we could do is we could use our radar dish here on this guy. Oh, and I do have a radar dish up here, so that is also something that we should turn on. There we go. And you know what, let's briefly keep you off here and just check with our main radar dish there. Okay, we're not seeing too much. Yeah, some surface contacts here, but they are all going to be relatively friendly, I'm guessing. Right, that battle there is continuing. I'm not sure what these guys are, but there's not much we can do to find out. Right. Okay, that being said, now there is a ship down here, which is pretty fast, honestly. So let's see whether we can intercept you. And we're going to go on cruise speed here. Oh, you're not fast at all. Even your cruise speed is 5 nautical miles. Oh, that's very little. Okay, let's do the other thing. Let's go to periscope depth here with you. And I want you to not dive when you need to. So, yeah, there we go. Okay, we know it's an enemy, and we know it's a literal combat ship. So, thinking here is, I'm thinking that this guy doesn't really use that much in terms of radar missions for now. So, here's the thing that we can try. If we have found him, let's try to send 2 missiles his way. Probably not going to do much, but we just might find that we can destroy him that way. Maybe we're going to get lucky here. Why are you traveling like you are? Okay, you're just trying to not be identifiable. But you know what? That's a good idea, generally speaking. Right, let's go ahead here. Okay, we know that this guy here is the Global Hawk. Got it. You know what? I think what we can do is take the airport here, just immediately launch a second craft. And if we're doing that, I think it's a very interesting idea, because you see what trouble we have here in identifying the enemy. What are you? 230 knots. You could be a tanker, you could be something that is, you know what, let's take the target here, let's intercept you, and then try to come back over here. Slightly inefficient, but I think it's going to be alright. Right, let's see here. Now, this guy is being targeted by these two missiles. I think he's probably going to turn on his radar. Yeah, you can see he's actively defeated these guys, which is sort of as we expected, but still interesting to know. So I'm going to come down here and maybe see whether we can beat him, because we know that the LCS as a ship is pretty weak actually. Okay, you are running a very weird pattern here. So you know what? Let's actually come over here, and you guys can try to deal with that because you're flying in the right direction. Anyway, we're gonna go back to cruise speed here. They probably know about us. Ooh. Now, this is not nice. A helicopter right over here. If there's a helicopter, I want to go at least over the layer here. The LTS is pretty fast. We gotta give it that. You need to identify that guy. That flight path there is to me, it indicates there is some trouble here. Okay, you know what? We've got this guy here. He is already a little bit damaged. We do have some more missiles. Let's send at least one on the Filipino vessel. That should be okay. And not sure what this is. This is probably an anti-submarine ship or something. We are seeing more helicopters here, but I'm pretty sure all of these helicopters are enemies, right? So we might need to get in there. Okay, apparently we lost contact down here. I'm thinking that they probably diverted to the south. Yeah, or to the east there. West, I mean. Okay, you are patrol aircraft. This helicopter here is probably the Hellfire armed helicopter, which is launching against this ship. We have impacted here with one of our missiles. Yeah, that's a lot of hits being scored there. Right. Let's see what we can do about that. And by the way, this is leading me back a little bit to an article that I once wrote. Read about, well, basically the question about what's going on down there. We've got this patrol aircraft. We've got the Triton. Triton is close to these guys. You know what? You should probably just flank it. Yeah, the submarine is not going to catch up there. That's all right though. Okay, yeah, and we know that this guy is an enemy. He's a tanker. Interesting. So we know that they currently, at least, are just right off the coast of Vietnam. Although we have certain trouble really identifying them. You are not sunk here by the Hellfire missiles, which obviously is a good thing for us. Now, here's the thing. We know that there's a destroyer in Ola Berkeley class somewhere around here. And here is the only bit of strategizing that I can do. And that is, we're going to come in very, very low here. That is going to, of course, burn a lot of fuel. Okay, you've done your job there. Let's have you come over here too. Our range at this point, 500 miles. It could be okay, but we will need to... We will need to be very careful there. Right, okay, so how are things down here? We've sunk the second ship there. That's lovely. But I'm still somewhat concerned about the overall situation down here. Now, the article that I was mentioning is basically, let's get the anti-air weapons, is basically indicating that maybe the blue force, maybe the technologically superior force, should not, under all circumstances... Yeah, LTSs, we've got 2 of them down here now. Should not, under all circumstances, try to... 300 miles, and try to maintain radio, or should... Sorry, let me restart that. So, sometimes, even the superior force should maintain radio silence. And the basic reason for that is that the targeting solution by the inferior force is so much easier when you're not going to be too concerned about finding the enemy. So we, as China, have a lot of trouble. Oh, there we are. Okay, and here you can tell. So this is important because let's get away from the surface sensors for a moment. Right, so this guy over here has a detection radius basically within this dotted line, and he can engage us all the way down here. So, for example, our aircraft over here currently could be engaged, but he probably can't find us unless we are emitting, of course, which we are. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to stay exactly at this point here, which I think is going to be alright. This guy over here, this J10, he's probably not going to see us because we are only 80 feet above surface level. So that's fine. What you can do though, my friend, is try to engage this guy here with a weapon, and then I want this guy to be engaged too. Right, so let's try to come down here, and what you'll need to do is turn on your radar, and we're going to go slightly slower here, but only for a second, and only as you're coming here. We'll need to see whether there's some indication about the, let's say, different... Oh, I do want to engage the Allerberke down there. That would be fantastic. The LTSs, we'll see whether we can do something about them. Speaking of what we can do, I think at this point is at least launch our aircraft like such. I want to launch it all as a group. Then I would like to launch you guys here as a group too. We're going to have them head down here. We are very limited in... Okay, why are you not engaging? You should be engaging. Is there something about this weapon here that has a minimum surface? Yes. Okay, so you need to be at least 200 feet above ground to actually launch your missiles. There we go. Come on. I know you can. Right, let's start with a Global Hawk. Okay, apparently not. Apparently we're starting with the other aircraft. Down there. Now we are engaging the Global Hawk. That's fine. You guys are trying to engage down there. That's okay too. We've got this aircraft here. We'll need to run you a little bit to the south here, I suppose. You guys are coming in. That's okay too. Let's see whether we can take down these two aircraft here pretty much simultaneously. That would reduce their detection levels by a lot. Nice. Okay, at least one of them. Stop! Stop! Oh, you fool. Oh, you fool. Right, let's briefly check on this guy. So he can potentially engage. So, okay, let's try to come here. Let's have you run at 200 feet and no more than that. And I'm thinking it's already too late. Yes, please. Only run 200 feet above ground. Why are you still increasing in altitude? Okay, now you're going down. That might be an issue. Maybe it's too late. Now the big issue here is that the Bainbridge, she might have already launched missiles against our aircraft here, and that would of course be pretty detrimental to our ability to survive this engagement. Right, and we've got flight number 799. Let's bring that up to the engagement envelope here. Can potentially accelerate somewhat. That might be flight. Yep, okay. You guys also coming over here. This is not an issue. We're going to run them pretty high because now we know where the enemy is, and we pretty much know that more or less only via their radar missions, not so much via anything else, which is actually pretty fun. Right, so Tiger 1, you're coming down here. That's alright. Let's try to bring you all the way over here, and then you will need to drop down. Okay, you, my friend, why are you not engaging? Altitude difference is too high. How high up are you? Larger than the weapons, up down 15,000 feet. We need to be at 20,000 feet. 21,000 feet. We cannot be at 21,000 feet. If we are at 21,000 feet, we are going to die. Right, so with that, keeping that in mind, let's come towards over here. And let's go cruise speed. We're going to try to find some of their helicopters. But I'm not too optimistic that we are going to find anyone here. Right, and then what we can do is bring you a little bit closer towards the actual target here. Would have been really nice to take out the Global Hawk. The anti-submarine warfare patrol there is fine, but it's really not that critical. Right, you're coming in, you are running with your engagement there. You know what, let's bring you over here. Let's make sure that your sensors are likewise enabled. Okay, so far everything fine down here. Yeah, we know that these are all civilians though. I wonder why we're not seeing any of the enemy helicopters anymore. Maybe they already landed? We should be seeing them, right? We can sweep all of the air here. Right, I'm trying to come towards this guy down here. He is certainly a speed advantage, so he could withdraw if he wanted to. Just doesn't look like he would. What are you? Not sure what you are. Could be civilian. Could be pretty much anything else, really. Okay, let's try to come over here. 4 minutes. Well, we've basically lost them, and you can see just how much trouble we are having finding anyone down here. Okay, so here's the thing. Right, let's try to catch you. What I want you to do is go to minimum altitude, 200 feet, so that you can actually launch. But other than that, you should be pretty low. There we go. So you're doing somebody of a handshake there. And you can see that these guys here are now starting to get so close to one another that they're probably going to start a gunfight. But here's the thing, we've got the 76mm gun. They have, I think, only something smaller than that. It's the LTS. The LTS does not have a good... Come on, guys. Have you launched both of your missiles already? Jesus, okay. Fine, let's bring you home. Let's bring you home. Let's launch another aircraft here. From this guy. That guy has dodged so many missiles. Right, let's see how that gunfight is going to turn out. Okay, we've got another fight down here. And we've got one over here. Interesting. You know what? One thing what we could do is, yeah, obviously outside the weapons engagement arc within 5 nautical miles. Nevertheless, let's try that. Maybe if we go slightly differently. No, he can shoot them down, even at a very low. Okay, we've lost comms here with our ship. It's to be expected. It's really not the best ship that we've got there. Doesn't mean it's out of the picture, but it does mean that we're going to have some trouble there. Okay, you know what? You guys, you can go just home to base, please. And you guys can go down here, see whether we can find anyone else there. let's have you come towards the Global Hawk. Right, and now here's the big decision what we're going to do with our ships and our aircraft. So we can fire a couple of missiles towards you. We could fire a couple of them towards the enemy there. We've got all of you guys over here. Now, I'm mostly concerned actually about the destroyer. So what we're going to do is, here's really the big thing. So you've got a range of 400 miles. That should be fine. And have you come up here. And then we're going to fly straight over there. You probably need to be, like, what's your launch altitude here? That's the right missile. 200 feet. Okay, so that's fine. At this point, I want it to be at... No, not throttle. Throttle is fine. Altitude, 200 feet. There we go. Please and thank you. You guys can come up a little bit more directly. That's okay too. You're the anti-radiation guys. We're going to keep you towards minimum altitude. And that's going to be alright. Hey, what's your range, by the way? This is your range. Okay, so you would need to come towards, let's say, over here. Okay, that's fine. That's doable. You, my friend, need to come over here as fast as possible, actually. You know what? I wonder how many missiles can you eat? If we are... No, we can't. Okay, fine. Yeah, but even finding the enemy is such a problem for us here. Right, we're very close to being able to engage you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by engaging you with 8 missiles from this ship. Not entirely sure what their flight path is going to be, but they're slightly faster, 520 knots, than our aircraft. And our aircraft do need a couple of more seconds here. We could, of course, time that to precision. That's not what we're going to do today. Okay, come on. You are very close to being able to engage him. And we might actually already allocate the weapons here, right? So that you can launch sort of as soon as you can. We're going to fire off another 8 missiles against you. And let's see whether he can dodge 16 missiles. He might be able to. And I'm actually expecting that he would be. There we go. Okay. Now you're doing the super thing and you're trying to run away at normal or high altitude. I really want you to stay low. You guys are coming in here as well. I'm guessing you're also going to have a 200 feet minimum altitude. No, 300. No, that's interesting, isn't it? Did I see? Oh, yeah, I did see some Poseidon down here. Well, if that isn't interesting, let's grab another fighter then. It's a bit weird to launch them individually instead of in pairs of 2, which would be the more normal thing to do, certainly, but it is what it is. You know what? You can probably come down here and then engage it like that. Right. This fighter's returning home. That's good too. Right, and then let's see how we're going to fare here against the enemy. So I'm guessing that these Krypton missiles, right? They're probably going to have they're going to be much faster. 2,000 knots. So 520. So I'm guessing that, you know what, you guys can come over here. You can probably start loitering because I don't actually want you to be that fast. Whoa, 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 whoa. You're RTB. No, 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 no. You're not RTB. You, my friend, are actually... You're already so high. That's a big problem. Okay, we need to run perpendicular. We need to come back down to a low altitude setting here. But you're going to be engaged already. Yeah, you can see they're topping off. They're sort of running up and then they need to level. Now they're only coming down. But 8,000 feet, I very much expect them to launch missiles against us, and they do. Right, you know what? In that case, let's come towards them. Let's launch everything that we've got. Because let's at least try to get rid of our missiles here. Yeah, we're going to lose this aircraft though. That was a bit of stupid of the AI though. Honestly, I gotta say that was just like, why did you do that? Right, okay, you have launched that now. Let's head over here. Let's try minimum altitude. Let's go after burner speed. That's the only thing that can save you over here. And I'm very, very, very much hesitant that you're going to be doing too well there. Right, you, my friend, need to go a little bit faster. Running the risk here of losing them. You, on the other hand, you know what? We can actually go high altitude here for a moment, because while these guys are engaging our flight here, I'm thinking at least that it's less likely. Oh, that's nice to identify that. Okay, you guys are coming home. That's good. I think you actually do not need to have any altitude setting here, so you can just make your way home conveniently at this point. Okay, we are seeing more missiles here. No, we are re-spotting these missiles. And you can see that a lot of our missiles are being shot down here. These are the missiles that were used by the Krypton, or the Krypton missiles. Right, this flight here, you can try to come home. Let's go at least with military speed. No, no, no. These missiles are trying to engage you. Yeah, we are toast here. By the way, notice the ease by which these 4 anti-radiation missiles were fought off there. Yeah, even at this very low altitude here. Well, maybe one of them is going to get out. I do not know. And yeah, these missiles are already being engaged here too. So really, really bit of a bugger there. Right, let's turn on the sensors here. I do want you to use radar. I do want you to engage that guy here as fast as possible. Which all in all is not going to be that fast. Right, guys, come down here. Yeah, but even 15 missiles here, that's going to be tough. Come on, launch. Launch. I think he shot down everything. I think he shot down every single... Yeah. He shot down every single of our missiles, and he's got more coming in there, so... we probably need to turn down the speed here a little bit, otherwise it's going to be super laggy. Yeah, look at him. And it's only 8 more missiles coming in, so that is not going to be sufficient here too. And that hog is leading a charmed life. Oh my god, the lag. Oh yeah, there's also still a battle down here. We are coming in there fast, but I'm guessing not fast enough. And still 8 missiles over here. Finally we got the... You are engaging something, but I'm guessing you're engaging these guys. If you prefer to engage our fighter aircraft here, well, it's so far away and missiles are streaming your way, and honestly I'm going to be fine with that. Yeah, the gun battle over there is taking up some engagement. But yeah, you can see he's easily shooting down all of these missiles. And that really is a big shame. What a sad bunch. You know what? You guys, let's try to get outside of the engagement range, and then we're going to come down here. And you can go back to cruise speed, because I think you could actually shoot down this guy with your IR weapons. Yeah. Okay. Guided missile destroyer super easily struck the entire thing off there. That's pathetic. So I'm going to put in a cut here, and I'm going to probably see one more episode where we are rearming our flight, and we're going to see whether we can do at least something against the LTSs. By the way, you can see that they were pretty much trashed here against this frigate, because just their armament is so low. We don't know about the situation here because they've lost their comms, but I'm guessing with that we're going to be able to beat him. Question is really about the destroyer there. That being said, hope to see you around next time. Bye bye, guys.